Hey, what's up? It's Joey Little, your social little man. What a better way to start a live broadcast than with a coughing fit. If you're like me around the country, a lot of people suffering from the cold or a cold, influenza, tickle in your throat, whatever it is. It's your boy is struggling with it right now. For the podcast, this can all be edited out, so we're good there. So today I want to talk a little bit about more Facebook and something more specific, being Facebook groups. Waiting for the audience to build here on the Facebook Live. And so those of you that are listening to the podcast, thanks for being patient. This is why it always takes a good 90 seconds to 120 seconds for us to really get into the meat and potatoes of what these Facebook Lives are about. So if you're listening to the audio, this is usually I do some plugs or talk about where I work or talk about what my work's got coming up or just talk about things in general that are in my life. So Arnold hates being added to groups without people asking. I think that's across the board. I think that's right up there with people sending game requests. Definitely. But yep, we have to deal with it. That's what Facebook's got right now. Do have to save your head into the National Auto Dealers Association. Make sure you check out the Spin Doctors playing live at our party for auto alerts. If you'd like more information on that, I can add that to that. Dealer on webinar and Joey Little live at the same time. I didn't do that on purpose, Chris. I did not do that on purpose. It just happened to come up that way. It's about the same time every single day here on the Facebook Lives. These go between 10 and 11 o'clock, sometimes a little bit after 11, but nothing. You can always go back to see these. Plus, if you don't watch Auto Dealer Live, those are pretty awesome. David does a really good job and his whole crew there. So we're going to talk about Facebook groups today. We're going to talk about the professional side of those. We're also going to talk about the personal side of those and what the likes and dislikes. Plus, I'm going to open it. Brad, are you on Facebook? Are you on the live? And I see. I see. I'm getting these mixed up. I'm a dealer on webinar. That's okay. I was thinking the auto. I thought, Brad, maybe I interrupted your the Three's Company thing, which I have a question about. 12 o'clock on the East Coast. The Auto Dealer Live, right? Brad, are you on both, Brad? That's awesome. It says Three's Company, but there's 4 people on there. I'm not quite sure how that worked out or who the marketing person was on that, but it's funny. It's like 3 women and you. That's not what I grew up with Jack Tripper and Chrissy and Janet. But going forward. Plus, those of you who like to do Facebook Lives, if you're struggling with something that I'm struggling with, which is if you're using an external camera, it's different. But if you're using your phone like I do, I use a Galaxy 5 or Note 5, not the 7, no problems. But the camera is right here. What I've noticed in a lot of the Facebook Lives is a lot of people like to look at themselves on the camera, as you can see now that I'm kind of focused off, but yeah. So help me with that. If you see me kind of trailing off, plus I got to read the comments, so it can be kind of difficult. So let's talk about Facebook groups this morning, or this afternoon, wherever you're at. Facebook groups, I believe, can be a nightmare. Can also be an amazing medium for not only personally motivation or personally notifications. We use Facebook group. It's a closed private group. We use one here at Auto Alert since we are kind of across the country, also in the UK and in Canada. We have a product that's going to be actually competing with that, but that's later on. We can talk about that. But we do use Facebook groups here at Auto Alerts. All employees are more than welcome to join the group in Facebook. And out of, I think we have close to 500 employees. We've got nearly half of those people in the Facebook group. Some people don't want to, mix their personal and their business. So did you know that when you in the Facebook Live, you cut yourself off the end? You need to wait a second or two before ending. Thank you. Arnold, you are now the official one of the producers of this show because I do need that kind of feedback. I appreciate that. I've had some success with a Facebook group that I've used in the past on the personal side. It's kind of tailed off, but there was a real good year and a half that the group was really going. It was called the Live a Little Project. It was a kind of a give back of helping people motivate themselves and also them motivating other people into improving their life. Every single day a little bit more. That actually started a group of 5 of us, and it grew into 1,000. And a lot of you that watch these are still in the Live a Little Project group. Unfortunately, it's kind of tailed off. So half of those 500 people worked for Vince Solutions. We do. There's a lot of swapping in the vendor side in automotive retail, software side. So a lot of talented people out there. We fortunately have a lot of them. Vin Solutions has grown like 700 employees now. It's crazy. It's awesome. It was amazing to be part of that whole startup. Hey, Ruthie, thanks for joining. Never been in one devoted for fitness. I've been in one devoted for fitness for 6 years now. Now, Tyler, just a little bit of feedback on, right? Is it motivating you? How often do you get in there? Do you just get in there to get motivated? What other groups do you guys belong to? And here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floodgates because I'm doing a lot of research into Facebook groups on the professional side and also the personal side. What I am opening the floodgates for you to add me to any group on Facebook that you belong to. Now, you can't just go out there and find some silly, crazy group and then just add me to it. But it's got to be one that you're a part of. I'd love to see the interaction that happens in there. I'd love to see the engagement. I'd love to see the type of content that gets pushed out. Not necessarily if you use them for work. I don't need to be in your work one, but if you want to slide me in there, I don't mind. But what are you using Facebook groups for? Have you created a Facebook group? I've created many Facebook groups. Some of them have done really well. Some of them have tailed off, but I have never. Not once have I ever went into my friends list on Facebook and just added people to a Facebook group without letting them know ahead of time. That has never happened. If it has one or two instances, maybe 3 or 4, it was completely non-malicious and I wasn't trying to do that. It could have been a mistake on my end or even part of my team here at AutoAlerts. So add me. I'm telling you, add me to the Denver Broncos diehard group there, Chris. You're not going to like what I have to say with this Chiefs fan. Or don't add me to any New York Yankee fan groups because I will disrupt. But what have you used groups? Do you use groups for professionally? I see in automotive retail, there are some sales consultants out there that have their own groups. And a lot of people like to use groups because your reach is exponentially higher, that people can... Elena is watching you live right now, Joey. I don't think so. I don't think that. Oh, she is watching. Elena, I thought you guys had the dealer on thing. I apologize. I'm going to make sure that our schedules don't cross again. But when it comes to Facebook groups, the reason that groups are being told by consultants, Gary May jumping in here, also a wonderful mind when it comes to social media marketing and social marketing, social networking, is groups. When Facebook really started up, becoming more popular and popular this years ago, instead of creating pages, businesses were creating groups because we did win the Super Bowl, Steve Selfridge. I know you're throwing me off, but yeah, Super Bowl dose, we won that. Just saying, we were there. Facebook groups were used because we were able to reach the followers a lot easier than you reach pages later on. Pages with engagement a lot higher back when there wasn't as much content on the web. And then once the more content came out, then pages kind of dropped off. I missed Ruthie's. I'm going to read Ruthie's again here. We're getting some thoughts on the sales group. Thoughts on sales groups like Lelure Leggings, Jamboree, etc. Application for dealerships. And maybe I'm a little confused on what that means, Ruthie, but yeah, any group that you're a part of, just throw me in the group. I'd love to be a part of any group that you're out there. I currently, right now, am using a couple of groups. Jim Ziegler jumping in here. The best car group on Facebook doesn't exist. It's an urban legend, but if it did, nearly 12,000 car people. I was not going to mention the unmentionable. It's Jim, but there is a group that's on Facebook in the automotive retail side, and it does have a lot of what I like to say networking that goes on. The facilitator, the admin of that group doesn't really kind of stand in the way except for the rules that they keep, but lets the people provide the content. And it's really amazing how that works. It's really amazing how when you get user-generated content, how well there's a lot of interaction and what goes down. But the more people you get in the group, the more admin access you have to, or admin responsibilities. Kenneth. I feel like I'm in 100 sales marketing groups. Many have been added at cut and paste groups. Yeah, it's just pages really crappy organic reach. It's true. What group? Jim Ziegler. Don't talk about it. Fight Club, etc., etc. I think you guys can kind of guess if you're not in retail, automotive retail. You do not know who Jim Ziegler is, but if you're in automotive retail, there is a 92% chance that you do know who Jim Ziegler is and what he might be referring to. So groups. My first question: do you use Facebook groups professionally at work? Does your dealership have a Facebook group where they put all the employees in there to try to create more less disengaged employees may say, because they can send out a message. This is what we do for AutoAlert. We're able to send out a message, and a lot of people are going to see it. Email's becoming a little bit more passe. There is text messaging, but how does your dealership or your company or your business, how do you communicate? And the number one feedback that I get is email. Excuse me, sorry. But there are other software products out there that can get that message out more. Facebook groups. In fact, Facebook just released Facebook for Business, which is almost like just creating a business page or your company's where only your employees are involved. I will tell you what we use for auto alerts and what we really love about it and what it's kind of made its own place, because it is a user-generated group. And what I love about the auto alerts employee forum is kind of what we call it, is that we have what we call RPMs, regional performance managers, that are all over the country, United States, in Canada, also UK. And we also have regional salespeople. So we have a lot of people that are not in our three main offices, which is Boston, Kansas City, and Irvine, California, Orange County, that are remote. And they take pictures of the dealerships they go to, the people using the product, the people that are excited to see them, their favorite dealers, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, Tyler Smith, there is an automotive version of Slack. It's about to be released at NADA. I don't know who the company who's going to release it is. I do, but I can't tell you that right now. Actually, I can tell you that right now, but I'm not going to, because I don't want this to be a pitch. But there is an automotive version of Slack, a retail version of Slack coming out. Hence, a lot of the talk about groups on Facebook. And we'll get out of the employee side. But what I was saying is that I love to see the interaction from our employees. We get employees all over the country, and they're in small pockets where a lot of them work out of their homes, or they're on the road constantly at different dealerships, performing their duties, and they're able to show their successes. Through our group and show their dealers, and it's a it's a positive thing, and it really does energize our employees. We have a lot of engaged employees here at AutoAlert. Now, on the professional side of things, I just saw that there's 100 different. AutoAlert is launching Slack for Auto at NADA. Snap. I thought you knew that, Arnold. Guy, you know everything. You're going to be a producer of the show, man. You got to know this stuff. But yeah, just hold on to the word Pando. Ooh, Pando. So groups, are you using them with your clientele? I'm seeing this a lot. We did a dealer to promote their racing efforts, and it does do slightly better than the dealership page, especially for photos. The thing is, racing year is relatively short, different use. Yeah, I get it too. But I see a lot of sales consultants out there that think they don't know a lot about social media marketing, social networking, et cetera, but really missing the ball, because they say that the first thing you're supposed to do is create a group on Facebook and add all of your customers to that group. That I greatly am against that. I think it should be organic. I think that your customers should want to join it if you want to make it a local kind of thing, but you got to give a reason to do it. You just can't add people to a group just so you can spam the shit out of them. You just can't do that. I mean, you can, but I will tell you that the dealers that I know across the country that are selling 30 cars a month or more on a month consistency are not doing cheesy gimmicks like groups. They're not trying to do that. Theirs comes from a lot of retention. And for those of you, people jump out. If you're trying to sell them all the time, they're going to be a part of your group. So how about personally? Have you created a group on Facebook, and what has been your successes with that? By the way, talking to the Facebook Live this morning, and I do want to always appreciate those of you listening to the podcast on iTunes or on Google or on SoundCloud. So thank you very much, or watching this on YouTube, the replay. A lot of interaction. I'd love if the Facebook Live actually recorded the comments, and so when it gets replayed on YouTube, you'll be able to see what it looks like. Right now, I'm just talking to ghost people, but. So Facebook groups. I have an interesting group that I put together here for Northeast Kansas, Northwest Missouri, the Kansas City area, which also will include like Columbia, Topeka, Lawrence, Kansas, et cetera, and it's an adventure. I know a lot of people that want to travel more for 2017. I know a lot of people that want to get out more, and so we've created a group on Facebook. Which is we call it Adventure Seekers, and I am talking to ghost people. There's an interesting terminology, ghost people. It's called the Live a Little 2.0 Adventure Seekers. And what it is, it's just putting in, that is kind of weird. I'm going to get back to this in a second because Arnold does say something, we're all your imagination. If this really came down that there really is no Facebook Live and this is just all a figment of my imagination that I just talked to these ghost figures online, I've got some serious problems. But this is a group that I put together. It's currently got 70 members in it, 69 members in it. These are people that are living in the area here that are looking for more adventure. And yeah, we're looking to create our own first road trip from Kansas City to Memphis, which is about a 7.5 hour drive, caravan. And I think a group is a great place to do that. Now, on the professional side of things, do I want to create a group that's, stick every dealer in it? No, I don't think so. Didn't you create a group for Live a Little? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit early, Gary, before you came in. Live a Little is a great group, but like any other group, if it's got to be user-generated content, up to almost 1,000 people in there, the content kind of dropped off. People were not, and I tried to spawn it myself. I tried to just add content every single day, even set up like an if this then that for, reddit.com/r/get motivated for it to automatically put content in there. It's dying. I did say that I was going to kill it. I had 7 people out of like 1,000 come back and say, no, I still love this. Well, there's nothing really there anymore. So maybe, I do. What's the secret behind a successful group? How many successful groups do you belong to? Are you wanting to set up a group? And I'm telling you that even if you're professionally minded, if you wanted to set up a adventure seeker, I guess, type group, if you live in the Northeast or if you live in Phoenix or whatever it is, you could set up one of those and, really involve the dealership as somebody who kind of sponsors it or backs it. And talk about every once in a while, you could take a demo, I guess, if you're going to go on a road trip or a few demos. I don't know what the liability is at your dealership, but I do know some dealerships that would loan out a few vehicles, put some miles on them, bring them back, et cetera, et cetera. UGC is Kevin, but trends trust me affected greatly. No simple equation. King. Oh, okay. There we go. UGC is king. User-generated content is absolutely king. Yeah. And it is trending. However it goes, people can get disencouraged by something. Is that even a word? And that's what I noticed about Live a Little. A lot of people wanted to improve their lives. They did it really hardcore at first, and then if they didn't really have any legs behind it, if they weren't really pulling the trigger on a lot of things that they said they were going to pull, then they would just back away from it. And that was how Live a Little kind of dropped off. The Live a Little project is a group, that's why now it's 2.0. We're taking the people that kind of want to get a little bit more into a specific thing that they want to change about their lives, which could be travel and adventure. And this isn't just road trips. This is also for Northeast Kansas the Kansas City, we'll just say the greater Kansas City area. This is also for festivals. This is also for concerts, etc. Because I know a lot of people that want to do these things, but they just don't know other people that want to do it with them. So hopefully this will be a networking area that they can meet other people and put these together. Excuse me. So moving back to Facebook groups, and I will say it again, open up the floodgates. If you want to add me to a Facebook group that you're a part of that you think is cool, or if you think see you later, Gary, I will see you at NADA. Make sure, Gary, you come up to the Auto Alert booth so we can do one of these live and talk a little bit about the age of digital marketing right now and how it's going on. I do owe Arnold a spot as well. So Arnold, make sure you join me at NADA too so we can get one of these going. But add me to a group. If you've got a group that you've created, add me to it. I'd love to see it. If you want feedback of what I think is going great with it or what I think it could, some challenges, I'll give you feedback. I'm no expert, but it could be an outside fresh eyes on something that you're doing. If you're using one for work, for professional reasons, if you just added all your customers that you're friends with on Facebook or whatever it is, add me to that group too. I'd love to give you any feedback if it's warranted. Remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that spends a lot of time in this area. So, and we'll test and see, what's working and what's not working. In fact, if you're a part of a group, you can add me to that too. Ruthie, we'll see you later. Make sure you join a good group today or add me. And this was fun. Kind of a shorter Facebook Live today, but a little bit under the weather. And remember, I'm trying to do this focus where I watch the camera instead of the screen because I can get a little weird. Looks a little funny, like I'm not keeping eye contact with you. So, yeah, add me to a group. I'm going to keep repeating myself, and that's what I'm really bad at, so I'm going to stop doing it. So make sure that you have a great day. All right. Guru or ninja, not expert. I think I'm going to come up with a different name for somebody who's really good at something, or somebody who's spent a lot of time editing themselves on something. I think the word from now on, Arnold, we will be using, well, we've been using scientist, which is funny. Everybody has an inside joke from Driving Sales Executive Summit, or professor. I think I'm going to start professor of online networking. So, all right, have a great day. And then Arnold told me wait 2 or 3 seconds after I hit the stop button so I don't cut myself off. And have a great day and keep smiling. 3, 2, 1.